Attendance and the hundreds of millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
I feel underdressed without a cummerbund. Dating back to Seattle in '96, the Bulls have lost 4 of their last 5 road games in the finals. But their one victory in that string was a huge one, Game 5 here, to take a 3-2 lead back to Chicago a year ago. The officials are Steve Javie, Ron Garretson, and Bennett Salvatore. Chicago ball to start it. Russell on Pippen. Michael, jumper on Hornacek. Off the back iron. Loose ball to Longley. Kukoc open. And it comes up short. Malone takes it the other way. Stockton on the drive. Dishes to Foster. Stockton gives them a fresh 24 with the rebound.
Now, Scottie Pippen is going to guard Foster and roam around a lot. You see him right now on Stockton. That's only because they got mismatched on the rebound.
Malone's first shot. Doesn't get the roll. Foster trying to follow. Knocked away cleanly. Out of bounds to Utah. Jordan and Malone each missed their first shot. And there's a whistle as there's contact away from the ball between Russell and Kukoc.
That'll be a 2-shot foul because the ball was not inbounded. So Brian Russell will step to the line and get 2 free throws.
Doug, the tempo of this game will be very fast because you have a lot of speed players out on the floor. Chicago is going with the smaller lineup of Tony Kukoc, and Utah is going with the smaller lineup of Foster and Russell. So the speed should favor Chicago.
Brian Russell averaged only 9 points a game during the regular season, down from the year before. But in the playoffs, he's really picked it up in all aspects of his play. He's covering Pippen now. He'll also be on Jordan at various times during the series. Hornacek has that unenviable task right now. Five on the shot clock. Kukoc. Out of the corner, it's Harper. Somebody's got to shoot it. Harper will, and it's 2-1 Chicago.
We know that's the guy that's going to have to make jump shots. As the Jazz double teams in the post, they'll make Harper prove that he can hit that shot on a consistent basis.
Stockton, the NBA's all-time leader in assists and steals. Bounces to Malone, guarded by Longley. He's 0 for 2. Kukoc has it. Bulls looking to run. Harper, the trailer, tries another one. Same result. Harper's 2 jumpers put Jerry Sloan's team behind 4-1. And we've played a bit less than 2 minutes. Utah has missed its first 4 field goal attempts. That's the end of that string as Stockton waltzes in off the left side of the lane.
He is so good at getting the double team, reading it, makes you get back to your own man, and then driving the ball right up your back.
Malone on Longley. Luke spinning toward the basket. Malone knocked it away, and it went off Longley's leg. It belongs to the Jazz.
When you're a big man and you're in the low post, you can't put it down below your waist, or Karl Malone will slap it right out of your hand. That's his favorite defensive move.
Stockton looking for Malone. Longley pokes it away. Malone chases it to the corner. Now Stockton again. Driving baseline. Hornacek through a crowd. Tough shot. Pops out. Michael has it in the open court, and Russell fouls him.
You could almost feel there that Russell was afraid Michael was going to get a breakaway. Did not want him to get excited early in this game, so he took the foul. But Russell's going to have to be very careful. They're going to need him on the floor, Bob. He's got to use his fouls very wisely.
Pippen, his first shot. Rolls around and doesn't drop. Hornacek has it. Ahead to Malone, to the hoop, and Utah claims the lead. For a man so big and strong, Malone runs the floor so well, even as he approaches age 35. Jordan cans the turnaround over Hornacek.
Now that time they didn't come double team Jordan in the low post. He took his time and was able to elevate over Hornacek.
Michael's first basket of this year's NBA Finals. Pippen got in the passing lane, cuts in front of Hornacek. Now it's 1-on-2, but Scotty takes it to the hole itself for the emphatic slam.
Doug, you know, Utah likes to run that scissor cut, and when you run that against Chicago, they're so long that they just switch all of that. Scottie Pippen switched it with Jordan, stepped out and made the steal.
Stockton's jumper. Got it.
There's that screen roll we talked about. They forced it baseline, and Malone stepped up and screened baseline. No one stepped out, and Stockton can make that shot. He's a 50% shooter.
Foster picked up a foul. It's his first. Bulls inbound, and Kukoc throws up a little runner that's short. Tries it again. Same result. Out of bounds. Last touch by Foster, and the Bulls will have another crack at it.
Those second shot opportunities. Now, Greg Foster's had his hands on about 3 rebounds. He's trying to get them with one hand. You got to go up and snatch those things with 2.
Kukoc red hot in Game 7 against Indiana. 0 for 3 so far tonight. In fact, he was hot through most of that series against the Pacers. An illegal defense now is called against the Jazz.
Yeah, they caught Stockton running over, and he's saying that they pump faked the ball. Stockton was coming to double team Jordan. They didn't throw it in, and therefore he was illegal.
Foster on Kukoc. Into the lane for Pippen. Up top, Harper. Kukoc for 3. Rattles in and out. Longley battling for the rebound with Malone, and Carl saves it into Hornacek. Malone underneath Foster. Contact, but they let it go. No foul. Back comes Chicago. Pippen thought about a 3. Now puts it on the floor and takes it baseline. Throws up a wild shot, no good, and Malone has it. Hornacek the pull-up. Spins out. Loose ball battle. It'll belong to Utah. Take a look at the no call a moment ago.
Well, this is such a frenetic pace. I think this favors Utah. You see right now, Greg Foster's going to get the dunk, and Scottie Pippen from behind knocks it loose. After that, it's incidental contact. But the pace of this game right now, I think, favors Utah if they can keep it up for 48 minutes.
Stockton had it knocked away by Harper, but Harper fouled it. That's his first, and we take our first break.
The NBA Finals Game 2, Friday at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific.
Right offense. And he's gotten off to a slow start, missing his first 4 shots. You see the open jump shot. He's going to drive the ball to the basket, missed a little finger roll. Misses his second shot and then spots up and shoots a 3. Now he's a much more effective starter as we saw in the Indiana series. Against Charlotte, he did not start, only 7.4 points. You see him what he did against Indiana, and was crucial in the Game 7 when he put up 21 points.
Dennis Rodman, and this is something we've become accustomed to, is not at present on the Bulls bench. He's gone back to the locker room, quite possibly riding the bike to stay loose, as he likes to do. Following the timeout, Foster has it for Utah. Malone with a great pass to a cutting Russell. Good look, and the Jazz in front again, 9-8.
See, that time Utah went away from their set, and they went into a more passing game set to try to neutralize Chicago's speed.
Pippen working on Russell. Double team, Stockton comes over and steals it. No one's done it more in NBA history. Foster might not have expected it, but eventually recovers. Now they'll set it up. Stockton with 5 on the 24. And his pass finds no one out of bounds in front of the Utah bench. where Jerry Sloan, during the last timeout, according to Jim Gray, told his team, wait a minute, you just saw the Bulls beat the Pacers by killing them on the offensive glass, and already in this first quarter, we've given them 4 second-chance opportunities. We can't let that happen. Michael against Hornacek, out of bounds to Chicago.
So Doug, you talked about Tony Kukoc missing his first 4 shots. The thing that impressed me about those 4 shots is that they were wide open shots. And that's what Michael Jordan is creating. And if Chicago takes their time, they're going to get good looks. And it's just a matter of them knocking down the shot.
Stockton out, Isley in, one of the best reserve point guards in the league. Pippen can't finish it off a good pass. Here comes Isley. Hornacek looked for Malone, threw it over his head, and Longley takes it. Pippen stutter step into the lane, lays it up and in. A year ago in the finals, Michael averaged more than 30. Pippen 20 against the Jazz. No other Bull averaged more than 8.
Bob, the early rust you talked about, though, poor shooting right now by Utah, but more importantly, they're turning the ball over. That's very uncharacteristic of the Jazz.
Malone can't get the lead back, but they'll get another chance.
And see, that's what the layoff will do to you, Doug. You can't practice emotion and intensity. And what emotion and intensity is, it makes you run a little faster, jump a little higher, and shoot it a little harder.
Malone from Isley into the lane, and Utah into the lead, but no, it's taken away on the offensive foul.
See, what makes Chicago so difficult defensively is that they can move and shut down the driving lane. They're so quick. You see, Malone has the penetration, but Pippen is there to take the charge. And when you miss a shot, Doug, Jordan can advance the ball, Pippen can advance it. They all can advance the ball for fast break opportunities.
Michael, turn around, sandwiched by 2 defenders, count the basket, plus the foul.
Scottie Pippen on the beautiful drive. Remember now, Brian Russell picked up a foul early, so he's got to be very careful. Scottie with a beautiful change of pace, that long swooping stride of his and a finger roll. And then Michael Jordan, I'm a little surprised here that Isley doesn't come down and double team. He reaches in, little touch foul, 3-point play opportunity. He's guarding Harper. You got to go help, make him give the ball up.
The foul is on Isley, his first, and Jordan completes the 3-point play.
See, when I think of Utah, Doug, I think of a half-court team that executes. I don't think of them as a fast-breaking team, and Chicago has got them into a speed, fast-breaking type of game.
Russell lobs for Malone. Longley got a hand on it. Malone recovers. Pippen blocked it, but there's a foul. And Malone will come to the free throw line, where he shot 83% in the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers, and 76% for the year. But you'll recall that he shot free throws poorly in last year's final against the Bulls, and that's part of the reason why Utah lost it. NBA.com is at the NBA Finals, providing complete coverage of the Jazz and Bulls. You can log on now and join a live cybercast with NBA and WNBA stars. That's the NBA.com arena. That's what the page looks like tonight.
Doug, we asked Karl Malone what did he work on over the summer, and he said he worked on his mid-range J because he thought that he would be playing Longley. And I asked him, I said, did you work on your free throws over the summer? He said, no, I felt that I'd be confident enough to step up in the finals and make them.
Knocks them both down. His 2 crucial misses at the end of game 1 in Chicago a year ago led to a Bulls victory. A Chicago offensive foul.
It's on Luke Longley now. You cannot get him in foul trouble with Rodman's thumb being hurt. He's doing a very good job on Malone in the low post. He's been fronting him, forcing him to step off the block and do everything facing up about 15 feet away from the basket. So you're going to see an early entrance here by Dickie Simpkins, not Dennis Rodman. Watch Longley move on this screen now. Russell's going under. He just lowers his shoulder, and that's a foul.
Longley out, Simpkins in. Rodman just now returned to the bench. Foster out of the corner. The one-time Bull hoists it and misses it. Malone taps it back out to Russell.
Foster has got to make himself available to the ball. Scottie Pippen is not even worried about him on the floor. So he's got to find the open area and make the shot.
Isley takes it into the lane, throws it up with the right hand, and hits the floater. Meanwhile, Ahmad Rashad tells us that Phil Jackson wanted to put Rodman in, and Dennis hadn't made it back from the locker room to the bench. That's why Simpkins is in. It's one thing to be idiosyncratic. It's another thing to be idiotic. Kukoc got it.
See, where most teams post their big men, Chicago posts their guard. Ron Harper posted up against Howard Isley. You had to come double team, and Kukoc knocked that wide open Jay down.
Out of bounds to the Jazz. Phil Jackson was quoted yesterday as saying, you know, there's a bit too much drama with Rodman not on the bench, and it looks like he's not part of the team, and I've got to put a stop to that. Well, they didn't put a stop to it in the first quarter here. Although Dennis is sporting a striking new hairstyle for the finals. Russell's jumper from the head of the key is way off. And it was touched last by Utah. With 2:51 to play in the first, the Bulls have the ball in a 2-point lead. This is the NBA on NBC.
Nissan has $100 that says you're going to like our cars and trucks better than Honda and Toyota. It's the Nissan $100 Challenge. Just test drive any new 98 Nissan between now and July 6th. Then if you still buy or lease a new 98 Honda or Toyota car or truck, within 30 days, you get $100. So, are you ready for the challenge? Better yet, our Honda and Toyota. The Nissan $100 Challenge. Nissan must receive validated test drive form with required documentation by 8/31/98. Significant restrictions apply.
Through this year's playoffs.
The guy who really has helped him with Hornacek's injury, Bob, has been Brian Russell. His scoring has gone up in the postseason. They really needed it at playoff time because of Hornacek's injuries to his Achilles. You know, Bob, as I look at the score right now, 15-13, this does not surprise me. In fact, if I'm Jerry Sloan, I'm probably a little pleased that I'm not further behind the way they're shooting the basketball right now.
Chris Morris is guarding Kukoc as Morris, the veteran, makes his first appearance. But a whistle and a 3-second violation against Chicago.
Now, did Tony pass that shot up because he's not shooting well? Remember, he's the kind of guy, when he gets off early, he's very confident. When he misses some shots, he has a tendency to fade away.
Hornacek, Pippen bumps him, bounces it to Morris. Michael guarding him, turnaround on MJ short. Simpkins. Off to Harper behind Simpkins' screen, and Harper misses. Morris takes the rebound. Hornacek through a slew of defenders and missing on the run. Harper will bring it back the other way. Into the lane he goes, drops it off to Pippen, who was fouled.
I think Chicago has forced Utah to totally change their style of play. They're normally a post-up team, pounded inside. Jerry Sloan has made the decision to go small to try to keep up with Chicago's speed. And I don't think they practice this way. This lineup that they have out on the floor, I don't think they even practice with this lineup out on the floor.
But Isaiah, they love to run at home. They're a team that loves the fast break here in the Delta Center. They like to get the game up tempo.
I think you play right into Chicago's hands when you have a speed game.
Pippen missed the first 38 games of the season following surgery on his left foot, and actually says that his legs are fresher as a result as we go through the grind of the playoffs. Chicago's lead is 4.
The last time Chicago played in here, they held the Jazz to only 13 first quarter points. The difference was the score was 35-13 at the end of one.
And now each team has been hit with one illegal defense warning. This one goes against Chicago.
Utah's got to find a way here, Bob, to get the ball to Malone on the block against Dickie Simpkins. If they do double team, space out, you got 4 good shooters on the floor. Let's find out what they'll do here.
Scott Burrell has come off the bench. We still haven't seen Rodman, at least not on the floor. Malone muscles it up on Simpkins, but Dickey held his spot pretty well and pulls in the rebound. Here's Burrell. Pippen, poked away by Morris. Scotty picks it up. Working on Hornacek. Up and over the backboard, Utah ball.
Karl Malone has him right where he wants him, gets a little excited, loses his footing, and throws a weak shot up to the basket. Dickie Simpkins cannot guard him down. He's got to take his time, power that ball through him.
Malone is 1 of 5, and Utah as a team is 5 of 18. Still Utah ball.
You see Ron Harper guarding Howard Eisley, staying on that right hand, won't let him come back to get to a shooting pocket to shoot that shot.
Eisley. Inside Morris for the reverse. Eisley penetrated as he blew past Harper. He's lightning quick, and then made the good pass.
Well, that's that high screen roll they love to run with Eisley. He just cut the ball back when Harper tried to beat the screen.
Chicago looking for a 2-for-1, but Pippen misses the pull-up 3, and then there's a rebounding foul. Simpkins hit with his first.
Bob, let's see if they go back to that high screen roll once again. Normally Malone steps up, and Eisley tries to run it. Morris will curl in underneath the basket. They'll keep their 3 shooters spaced. Malone will wait for the last moment, and he'll come up and set the screen for Eisley.
Game clock overlapping the shot clock by a couple of seconds. Malone from Eisley to the basket, and with pure strength, although he took a hit, he maintains control and lays it in. Jordan looking for the last shot. It'll be a 3. And he almost banked it in. But Utah pulls even. After a ragged first quarter at the Delta Center, it's tied at 17. A lot has been made of this whole rust versus rest question, and it may come into play in this game. Certainly in the first quarter, Utah didn't look sharp, but in the long run, you have to believe that the rest will benefit Utah. And for whatever this may be worth, since the early 80s, there have been 7 occasions when a team has had a week or more of rest waiting for its opponent in the NBA Finals. And 6 of those 7 times, the team with the lengthy rest won the NBA title. As the second period begins, Rodman makes his first appearance, as does Judd Bushler, who was so effective in Game 7 off Phil Jackson's bench against the Pacers. Malone still can't find the range. Here's Randy Brown. The matchups in this series may allow Brown to play more minutes than he did against Indiana, but not if he does that. He threw it away. Eisley, pull up, open. Utah has the lead.
You know, Bob, you talk about rest versus rust. And when you look at the Chicago Bulls in Utah since the end of the regular season, look at the day's rest that Chicago has and that Utah has. They're identical. And the reason is because Chicago finished their series earlier.
Early in the playoffs, but not most recently. Most recently, it's Utah with the rest.
Now, they love to post Shandon Anderson the moment he comes into the game.
He tries a fadeaway on Bushler, but there's a whistle before the shot. That's number 1 on Judd.
See, Karl Malone has been taken out of the game. Looks like he's changing shoes. So I don't know if he's a problem with his shoes or if he's just resting his feet. But the equipment man has brought out some new shoes for him.
Malone and Stockton both on the bench. Shandon Anderson tries it again on Bushler. And hold on, says Steve Javie. Another foul on number 30, Bushler.
This lineup is an interesting group for Chicago. It looks like that Phil Jackson is just trying to buy some minutes because the only guy that can score out there right now is Scottie Pippen.
Phil Jackson, who seemed to shorten his bench for most of the Pacers series, has already used 10 players in the first quarter plus here. Morris into Antoine Carr. Another try for the veteran. Blocked away by Simpkins. Now it's Anderson. They go 0 for 3 on this trip.
They're just so excited right now. They're rushing everything.
Randy Brown. Out to Pippen. In the lane for Simpkins, knocked away and stolen. It's a 4-on-1 break. Isley to Anderson. Utah by 4. Rodman's pass to a cutting Bushler was a good feed, but they couldn't finish it. Russell on the run. And suddenly it's a wide open game with the Jazz up by half a dozen.
Anderson throws ahead, and Brian Russell with the emphatic dunk. And turnovers and missed opportunities have hurt Chicago. 23-17 now. The Jazz lead with 9:35 to go. Michael Jordan back into the game.
Steve Kerr in for the first time. Here's Kerr with the ball. And now Rodman, a turnaround jumper that predictably misses. The rebound to Morris. Utah on a 10-0 run, 6 of it at the start of this quarter. Anderson. And Rodman protects the rebound.
Well, you can really see they're going inside to Anderson.
Kukoc hits the hook. At the other end, it's Morris. Bumps off a defender and lays it in.
Isaiah, can't you feel how Utah is trying to run? They're trying to run the Bulls. They're saying they have played a lot of basketball games, an emotional 7-game series. They're really trying to push this tempo at home.
Yeah, but Doug, I think they're making a big mistake by trying to run with Chicago because that's not their character.
Kukoc's miss is poked out of bounds, touched last by Chicago.
The pass to Chris Morris. Michael Jordan tries to take the charge. No call. And Chris Morris, once again off the bench, has been a big factor.
Stockton back in, as you see, guarded by Kerr. Anderson around Bushler. Little up and under move. And the Jazz in front by 8. Listen to this crowd at the Delta Center. Jordan quiets it just a bit. Stockton into the lane on Kerr. Off balance and got it. Six for Stockton. The chant is beat the Bulls, beat the Bulls. But first, you have to stop Michael Jordan.
Isaiah, that's what you talked about at the top of the game. They've got Isley and Stockton in the game together. Isley trying to play Michael, just way too big in the post.
Doug, Chicago is getting any type of shot they want. They've missed at least 5 layups in this first half and wide open jump shots.
9 points now for Jordan, who's guarding Isley. Isley spins around him and cans the jumper. Hard to believe this kid was caught once by Utah and also by Minnesota and San Antonio. Michael, Anderson went for the steal, leaving Michael alone, but this time he missed. Stockton hurrying back and might have been fouled by Jordan. That's number 1 on Michael.
They love to post Shandon Anderson. He takes his time. He's got great position against Judd Bushler. Backs him down. The up and under. And the little hoop. And John Stockton, after a nice rest, pushes the ball up the floor. The little floater against Steve Kerr. And now Howard Isley, the guy who's made this second team go all season long, buries the jumper against Michael Jordan.
Not bad for a former member of the Rockford Lightning of the CBA. This is the NBA on NBC.
Combined 6 of 6 from the field right now.
Isley trying to use quickness on Jordan. That one comes up short into the arms of Rodman.
Stockton on Michael now,
who immediately wheels around him, draws contact from Carr, and a foul. Must See Thursday on NBC starts with Friends, then Veronica's Closet, followed by Seinfeld, Just Shoot Me, and ER. Must See TV tomorrow night on NBC. Foul on Antoine Carr was his first.
Jerry Sloan does not like the matchup. Brian Russell's going to come back in, probably for Isley to put a bigger body on Michael Jordan.
Isley did a heck of a job, though, while he was in there. And at this point, with John Stockton at age 36, playing less than 30 minutes a game, Isley's performance has been so important for Jerry Sloan. Stockton driving on Kerr, but it spills out. Another rebound for Rodman, playing with that right thumb heavily bandaged. Dennis. Fans taunting him. Kerr pops a baseline jumper and hits it. Quick release before Stockton could get there.
Well, he can't roam as much with Kerr in the game. He likes to wheel back and double team the basketball. He's got to stay more at home against Kerr.
Now it's a 4-point difference. Carr left alone. Can't make the Bulls pay for it. Loose ball to Rodman. Pippen with Jordan on his left. His pass knocked away by Stockton, who flips it to Russell, who pushes it up the floor. And it's finished by Shandon Anderson.
Stockton just made a smart defensive play. He ran right to Kukoc. He was going to double team Jordan, but he saw Kukoc standing there, and he ran right back to him and intercepted the pass.
Kukoc to Kerr. Head fake, jumper, missed it off the glass. Pippen has the follow.
And what surprised me on the layup by Shandon Anderson was Rodman was back. He could have taken a foul and made him shoot some free throws. He just backed out of his way. Isaiah let him lay the ball in the basket.
I think right now Rodman is very concerned about his thumb. And you know, Doug, when you have an injury, you have a tendency not to be as aggressive as you normally would be.
The jumper by Anderson. Kukoc got a piece of it. Make it Morris on the shot. It was Morris's shot, deflected by Kukoc. Russell trying to contend with Michael. And as Anderson came over to help, he collides with Michael and picks up the foul.
Now you watch Jordan in the post. He'll take his time. He'll back Russell down. And then the contact will come from Anderson. I think he was guarding Scottie Pippen, and Scottie Pippen ran him right into a foul.
Anderson got the worst of that, and he got the foul. Michael, you don't realize how strong he is. He just punishes defenders. See, the rest of Karl Malone got off the floor for 6 minutes. He got a total of 11 minutes rest, so really double the time that he missed on the floor.
Stockton had Kerr by the jersey, and he nods in assent as Steve Javie spots it and hits him with the foul. That's one on John.
So Jerry Sloan cautioned his team early not to come out and expend too much energy because he wanted them to have something in the fourth quarter.
Hornacek is back. Let's see if Jordan tries to go right at him. Rodman has it knocked away by Malone. Stockton over. Now it's Kerr. Pippen can't hit it. Neither can Jordan. Back comes Russell. And there's a foul.
John Stockton is such a tough guy. You watch the dunk attempt miss. Now watch Stockton step in here. He knows he's going to get smoked by Michael Jordan. Forces him to take his eye off the target and look at him. And Michael missed the easy shot. And then Brian Russell came down on the fast break once again. The beautiful pump fake, and he's going to get to the free throw line. But anytime Chicago misses, you can see Utah is trying to get the ball up and down the floor.
The foul on Kukoc was his second. The Bulls have 14 fouls, the Jazz 3, with 3:45 remaining in the half. Utah now by 5. Another free throw for Russell, who earlier this year lost his starting job to Adam Keefe. But he's come on down the stretch and in the playoffs.
You know, he signed that big contract in the offseason and then came back and was really sluggish and out of shape and did not perform well early. Same thing with Greg Ostertag, and we've not seen him tonight. But both those guys had a mid-season turnaround that really changed the fortunes of this Jazz team.
Anderson on Jordan. Hornacek trying to guard Pippen. Coming over to help was Malone to swat it away. Stockton thought about a three. Didn't take it. And now Pippen fouls him.
That was a frustration foul on the part of Scottie Pippen. He felt Hornacek fouled him right there in the low post. Malone comes over and gets the block, and you're going to see Scottie, where's the foul? So when he comes down the other end, a little too aggressive on Stockton. Stockton, very smart, knows they're shooting free throws. He'll step up to the line, use Scottie Pippen's aggression against him on that possession.
Chicago's now over the limit.
John Stockton's a much more effective player at home, usually plays more minutes. Isley gets a few more minutes on the road. You see his points up, his assists up. He looks very fresh right now in tonight's game. With the rest, I think, has really helped him.
Rodman goes out, and Longley, after a long stretch on the bench, comes back in for Chicago. 1 of 2 for Stockton, who then tried to go after the rebound but couldn't quite take it away from Pippen. Scottie Pippen, by the way, is 3 of 9 in this first half after shooting 6 of 18 from the floor in Game 7 against the Pacers. But, of course, he contributes in so many other ways.
Bob, I've never seen Chicago miss so many wide open and easy layups.
But how about that one? As Jordan whirls through the defense, seems like almost every member of the Jazz had a look at him before he laid it in. Michael with 13.
Luke Longley's doing a very good job, Bob, trying to keep in front of him.
He recovers to block Malone's shot, but fouled him.
See, his size has really bothered him, getting in front of him.
That's 3.
That's 3 on Longley, but Michael Jordan, the whirling dervish move on the other end of the floor. They jump out to try to trap the screen roll. He goes baseline. Malone reaches. And the little finger roll, that was wide open, but that sure wasn't easy, Isaiah.
But how about the foot fake, Doug, that got him wide open for that easy layup?
In this first half, Luke Longley has 3 fouls. Now, he's always prone to foul trouble. With Dennis Rodman's contribution in this series a question mark for a variety of reasons. If Longley has to spend long stretches on the bench, who's going to guard Malone?
Well, that's a real big problem, and you see he fronts there and does a nice job, but here he comes over the top and gets the foul. You got to get weak side help on that. You've got to get somebody rotating down from the back. This time it's Michael Jordan, and Michael a little slow reacting to that pass, and Luke picks up the foul.
Karl Malone, who turns 35 late next month. Misses the first one. A member of the NBA's first-team All-Star squad, 10 consecutive years, and this year he was an all-defensive team selection for the 2nd year in a row. If it weren't for Michael Jordan, how many MVPs might this guy have won? He's finished 2nd in the league to Jordan in scoring 5 different times. He's led the Western Conference in scoring 7 times. So if they split it like by conferences, like they do by leagues in baseball, he'd be a 7-time scoring champion. Jordan, quick catch and shoot. 15 for Michael.
But the Jazz will live with that because he's not getting to the free throw line. They're going to hope that maybe if he shoots under 50%, they'll limit the offensive rebounds with no double team. And the end result will be a good one for the Jazz.
Good pass inside from Hornacek to Malone.
Great high-low action there, and Rodman was just completely sealed behind Malone.
Yeah, Malone is too big for Rodman. He caught him that time on his back, but Chicago will keep going inside with their big guards.
Kerr from Scottie. When he gets a look like that, he won't often miss.
Better communication, though. They run that little split at the top. Malone stepped over, and Michael got screened on Stockton. Nobody helped out.
Hornacek with Michael on him. Here's Malone. Back to Hornacek. Into the lane, off-balance shot. Hits the front rim and spills away.
You can just see Hornacek has no legs in his shot at all.
Michael, single coverage. And that's what happens.
Same spot, same dance, same music.
17 points in the half, 12 of them in this quarter. Utah asks for time. It's a 20-second timeout with Chicago back to within 2.
See, Chicago loves to post their big guards, and particularly Michael Jordan, who's one of the best post-up players in the game. Utah fails to double team, so he shoots it right over Shandon Anderson. And they come back to the same spot. Okay, I'll read it. There's no double team. I give you the fake to the baseline, and now I'm going to fade back to the same spot and shoot it the same way. Now you watch Rodman trying to defend Malone, who's too big for him. Seals him on his back. The great high-low feed, as Doug talked about. Malone just lays it right in the hole.
Last year's MVP, Malone. This year's MVP, for the 5th time in his career, Michael Jordan. And a look at their numbers. Stockton has a good look and puts the jumper down.
See, they come out of that timeout, they run screen roll. They know that Rodman is not going to help off of Malone. So he set that sideline screen once again, and Stockton is an excellent shooter.
Kerr to Michael. As they go to the man with the hot hand. Again, single coverage by Anderson. Hornacek comes over. Michael with the up and under. Count it, and he'll come to the line with a chance to reach 20 points in the first half.
Now that's how smart Michael Jordan is. He'll get it on the low post, wait, he knows they're going to come with the double team. Okay, this time I'm going to fake it to the baseline and I'm going to step through and split it. I'm not going to give you the same offensive look every time. I'm going to give you something different.
But Isaiah, you teach when you come down to a double team, that defender has to come and touch the other defender, so you can't step through there. You can't give him any kind of pathway to get to the basket. You must make him spin away and shoot the shot. Kevin McHale was the master of that.
I understand you teach that, Doug, but when you're coming down to double Michael Jordan, do you know how much fear is in your heart?
A three-point play, 20 points, and get this, this is the 30th finals game in which Michael Jordan has played. He has never been held under 20 points, and he's got 20 in the first half tonight. Stockton on the move and banks it home.
What a tough shot by Stockton. They tried to run the same play. This time Kerr forced him back into the middle. The little running wrong footer by Stockton off the glass.
He's got 11. Last 30 seconds of the half. Jazz by 3. Jordan finally missed one, and Russell collects the carry.
He likes to go 2 for 1, shoot a quick 3.
Not enough time for that now.
Stockton's having a beautiful first half. He's controlled this first half masterfully, as only Stockton can.
So they'll hold it for the last one. Stockton fires. And hits again. Big first half. Just a step inside the line. 13 points for Stockton. Kukoc beats the buzzer and misses the 3. Jazz led by as many as 8. They conclude the half up by 5.
Getting involved. You get Rodman involved in the play. You're going to see him come back now. It goes to the middle. The little runner off 1 foot off the glass. And the next time down the floor, they're going to look like they're going to feed the post. Scotty gives them some space. And Stockton steps up and varies the shot to give them the 5-point lead going into halftime.
And now stay tuned for the Prudential Halftime Report after these messages. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Look for him to make passes now. And you look at Jordan, who had 20 points, half of Chicago's points. But Chicago had 14 layups in the first half and missed 8 of them. Look for Jordan to come back and continue his strong shooting, because they're giving him any shot that he wants inside.
So Utah, rusty or not, leads by 5. Third quarter coming up.
Back in the Delta Center, where the Bulls trailed the Jazz by 5. Phil Jackson told his team at halftime, just what you expect them. You got to stop the screen and roll. Offensively, they said they had a good tempo. They want to keep controlling their tempo. They need more offensive rebounds and expect them to double team Michael Jordan. Look for the open man off that double team. Let's go down to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Ahmad. Well, that's exactly right. Jerry Sloan told his team he's not happy with the way they're defending against Michael Jordan. He's going to change it up here in the second half. You're going to see quite a bit of double teaming. You're going to see some better rotation. You're going to see some changes closer to the basket in the scheme. Jerry Sloan said we can't count on them missing that many layups. We've got to establish ourselves. We can't let them offensively go where they want to be. Bob? All right, Jim, thanks a lot. First shot, second half, Brian Russell. Short with a 3. And Harper has it for Chicago. Luke Longley with 3 fouls does not start the second half. Dennis Rodman does. Ahmad Rashad tells us that Rodman spent much of the halftime break dribbling a basketball, trying to loosen up that sore right thumb. Strained ligaments. Sustained in Game 7 against Indiana. Michael Jordan way off, so can't pick up where he left off in the first half as he scored 20. Malone over Rodman. In and out. And Harper takes it. Pippen to the hole. Or hole. That's a combination of hoop and hole to the hool. Don't use that, Zeke.
He went there, too.
He went any place he wanted to go and got the hoop. Who will score the next one? Hornacek has it. It'll be Stockton who has 15.
What a great pass, Isaiah, on that give and go from the top. You fall asleep a little bit, and Hornacek finally gets off here with a layup. 0 for 4 in the first half.
Now, that's the Utah I know. Half-court execution, perfect screen, back-cut layup. That's the way they need to play in order to win this game.
Harper into the lane. Tried to find Rodman, poked away to Pippen, and his 3 is no good. Rodman with board position. Michael hits the open 3 and matches the number on his uniform with 23 points.
The minute you start double teaming, though, what you do is you open up that offensive board, and that's the one thing Jerry Sloan has to be concerned about. They've got a defensive rebound like they did in that first half.
Utah by only 2. Hornacek with Kukoc on him. Into Malone, and Rodman fouled him, trying to poke it away. That's only number 1 on Dennis.
See, the dilemma is how do you defend Jordan? And when you go to trap him, that leaves Rodman on the offensive glass, kick back to Jordan for the 3.
Stockton hounded by Harper. To Malone, who wants to work on Rodman. Can't hit it. And Russell can't control the rebound. It belongs to Chicago. Now, wait a minute. Steve Javie comes in and may overrule Bennett Salvatore, and apparently he does.
Karl Malone using his superior strength, and Dennis Rodman does a good job forcing him to take a tough shot.
Stockton takes the inbound, but Harper cuts him off. Malone screening for Stockton, who drives the baseline, tries the reverse, and Rodman picks up a second quick foul.
Now you watch Rodman, who's playing with a very tender thumb, and you see Malone comes over and whacks him on that thumb, and gets to the other end, and you see him still shaking and it's hurting. And anytime you wear any type of Band-Aid or any type of tape on your finger, that's a sign and that's a signal for the other team to just take a whack at that hand. So anytime Malone or Foster or Russell get a chance, they're going to whack that thumb.
Stockton hits them both. Stockton playing in his 142nd career playoff game. No one has ever played in as many without winning an NBA title. And Malone not far behind in that category. Kukoc looking for help. 5 on the 24. Dribbles it off his foot. And Russell, battling for the loose ball, comes up with it. Pull-up jumper. Utah by 6. Timeout, Chicago.
the kind of plays that win basketball games for you. Tony Kukoc off his foot. He reaches down for the ball. Not Brian Russell. He goes for it, finds it, picks it up, pulls up, and hits the jump shot to give the Jazz the lead. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
The NBA Finals, even more basketball.
Now, Michael Jordan had a great first half. You see he's not double teamed, so he's able to elevate over a smaller Hornacek, come back, elevates over a smaller Isley, and then he gets it in the post over Shandon Anderson. Utah is failing to double team him. He says, okay, I'll make you pay. He dropped 20 in the first half on him. You see what he's doing round by round. If they fail to double team Michael Jordan, then he's going to keep making them pay.
And in recognition of this look inside the game, Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Interestingly, one record Michael Jordan doesn't hold his highest career average in the finals. He's at 33.6. Rick Barry at 36.3 in 2 finals for the Warriors. Michael is second. Jerry West is third at just over 30 points a game as a finals player. Michael again. Spins out. And the rebound taken by Karl Malone. Stockton to the front court. Harper again on him.
Luke Longley is now back into the game with Dennis Rodman, so now he's matched up against Karl Malone once again. Remember, he got 3 quick fouls in the first half trying to guard Karl Malone.
Here's Foster. Deals to Russell. Drives on Pippen. And hits a tough hoop. Russell's got game. He'll take it to the basket. He'll shoot the 3 on you. He's a good defender. Longley inside off a nice feed.
See, when you come to double Michael Jordan with size, that time Foster came to double team. Luke Longley followed him right to the basket and got the easy layup.
Well, Jerry Sloan's not happy because Karl Malone's supposed to pick up that cutter and did not do it.
Longley's first basket. Malone over Longley. Rodman has the rebound. Trying to play through some pain. There's no question that thumb is bothering him.
Chicago has baited Karl Malone into a jump shooting game. He must get back into the post.
Jordan, turnaround on Hornacek. Rebound Longley, and there's the follow. So Longley with a contribution here, midway through the third.
Isaiah, I agree with you. They've got to establish Karl Malone down in that paint. That's where he's lived all season long, and he's been a jump shooter the entire night.
Stockton to Foster, who hits the jumper.
See, the way they started the game the first half running, I don't know if Karl Malone lost his rhythm and they played him out of the game. Now he's got to try to get back involved.
Longley drops it off for the driving Pippen, who had to change the shot, but was good enough to do it. Stockton backing away with 6 on the 24. Now bouncing it from Malone. It's off his foot. But Utah's going to have it from the side.
Now you watch the athleticism of Scottie Pippen on the back cut. He reverses it, hesitates in the air, hangs, and banks it off the glass with touch.
No foul. A Chicago player kicked it.
Now we see Greg Ostertag in the game for the first time. He'll match up against Malone.
It's Malone over Longley. Little bump. Doesn't get the wall on the shot, but it's tipped in by Ostertag, who takes about 3 seconds to make his presence felt.
Well, see, he's got great size, and he's a very good offensive rebounder. He's also a shot blocker, and the Bulls are getting perimeter inside right now, and they need somebody in there to control that lane a little bit defensively.
Michael on the baseline, no basket. A foul before the shot. Great size in Ostertag's case is 7'2" and 280.
See, Dennis Rodman had a chance to get this rebound, but he was very hesitant to stick up his right hand. You see, he didn't want to put up his right hand, and Ostertag used his body, used his size, and was able to get the tip. But you see Rodman hesitant to put that hand there.
First foul on Hornacek. Bulls inbound, and it's Michael. Off the dribble, against Hornacek. Misses over. Rodman gets it to Longley, and Longley with his third basket. in a short stretch here in the third quarter.
It has to be a concern. Only 2 second chance points for Chicago in the first half. That's 7 now already in the third quarter.
Michael Jordan has cooled off in this third period. He had 20 at the half. He has only a 3-pointer in this third quarter to show through the first 6.5 minutes. Howard Eisley.
The Jazz need the same kind of production out of Eisley in the third quarter that they got in the first half.
Russell thought about a 3. Pippen gets up on it. Now he lets it go. And Pippen takes the rebound. A Utah foul. Jordan had gotten back ahead of the field, but Pippen didn't see him in time, and now Malone picks up his second foul.
Bob, you get a sense of frustration in Karl Malone right now. He's not getting the ball where he wants it. The Bulls are doing a very good job. They've got him out of his rhythm right now. That was just a frustration foul in the backcourt.
Pippen wants a 3. It doesn't go, and there's a foul on the rebound. Howard Eisley picks up his second.
Now you watch Scottie Pippen take a little poke right in the eye from Karl Malone, and I've been hit by Karl Malone a couple of times, and that little poke hurts.
You took more than a little poke one time. 42 stitches worth, right?
Bob, you are correct, sir.
Michael, just 1 of 5 in this quarter. Into the lane. Finds Harper open for 3. Pippen knocks the rebound away from Ostertag, but Hornacek has it. Eisley, all alone, tried to get it inside to Malone, and it was knocked away as he passes up the open jumper.
Jerry Sloan was very unhappy. He thought it was a 3-second violation. The Bulls got away with an extra pass, and Harper missed the 3.
Russell. Malone, meanwhile, 0 for 4 in this quarter and 3 for 12 in the game. They try to get it to him, and Chicago steals it. Bulls trail by 4. Pippen has trouble with the pass, recovers it, then stepped out of bounds.
I think the Jazz have to be very careful here not to try to get Karl Malone so involved that they get out of what they're doing. Howard Eisley passed up an open jump shot on the break. That time, Isaiah, he tried to force one that just wasn't there, that was picked off.
Eisley drives by Harper, shoots on the run, and banks it in.
That's a great shot by Howard Eisley. It's a floater right before the defender gets there, so it keeps the defender off balance, and he really doesn't know when to jump.
Pippen from Jordan tried to hang in the air to finish it. As it was, he drew the foul.
Now you watch Eisley on the little floater. He shoots it right before the defender gets there, so the defender is off balance and doesn't know when to jump, how to block it. The hesitation, the little floater, that's the old Detroit move that Jalen Rose uses with Sean Leonard. They all played on the same high school team, and they all used that same move going to the basket.
Foul on Ostertag was his first. Pippen hit the first. And now the second. Scottie has 14.
If they go back to that sideline screen roll, Dennis Rodman is the guy that's in rotation. He was slow getting there the last time.
Russell to Malone. He takes it to the basket and scores around Longley. Trying to get himself on track offensively here.
That was great ball movement, and Karl Malone did the right thing. Drive it to the front of the rim and score.
Jordan. Hornacek up on him. With the left hand, he leans into the lane and tosses it home.
Now, they have an illegal defense. That should be illegal offense.
Because it's just not fair.
That's not fair.
Hornacek with the reverse. Rodman battling Malone for the rebound. And Jordan comes away with it. Again, this one spins out. And play is stopped as they chase after the loose ball.
Karl Malone gets a nice feed by Brian Russell out of the trap. Drives it right past Luke Longley for the score. And then Michael Jordan, what about this pump fake? He drives it inside, spins, is going to show you up and under. Ostertag goes, uh-oh, and Michael lays it in with his left hand.
How did he get from point A to point B like that?
Well, you watch the long extension of the left hand finger roll.
Harper, meanwhile, just picked up his second foul.
He was a dunk.
Screen roll. Scottie Pippen is going to run off Brian Russell from the corner. You're going to see him. He's run off. Now he's going to try to recover. And when he does, Malone works right in behind him in the middle of the floor. They find him. He uses his quickness, drives it to the basket. He was 3 for 12 at that point in time, shooting mostly jump shots. You see very little in the paint. That time he did the smart thing, drove it right to the basket, used his quickness, and got the layup.
Well, Bill Walton said earlier, part of the reason why Utah lost the final a year ago was that Malone became a jump shooter too often.
Set play out of a timeout, realizing Michael Jordan overplays, pressure release, good backdoor pass to Jeff Hornacek, who makes a tough shot.
And that was his first basket. Jordan, double team, gets it to Harper. Longley. Ostertag collects the carom. Rodman all over him, but he gets it out to Isley. Bounces to Hornacek. 2 in a row for Jeff.
You know, I can tell Jeff Hornacek is really struggling with that Achilles because he can't get any lift. And when he goes in and make the layups, he's barely getting off the floor, but he's gutsy tonight.
Utah by 8, matching their biggest lead. Pippen hits a 2-point bucket, just a step inside the line to cut it to 6. And Scottie has 16. Half of them in this period. Russell behind an Ostertag screen into the lane, lost the dribble, and Longley claims the loose ball. Pippen behind the Longley screen, fires a 3 and misses it. Rebound Brian Russell. Isley in the lane to Malone. Blocked by Longley. And out of bounds to Utah.
Well, what a great effort that time by Luke Longley. Karl Malone ran right underneath the basket and had Rodman sealed. Looked like he had a point-blank layup. Look where he has the ball. Scottie Pippen forces him to pump fake, and Longley comes over and blocks his shot.
Antoine Carr back in. Hornacek juggles the inbound pass, and Rodman picks it up. Another Utah turnover. Longley against Ostertag. Pippen, head fake on Russell. Longley has it back, but a whistle before the shot and a 3-second violation. Jerry Sloan was pleading for it from the Utah bench and finally got it.
Yeah, they caught Dennis Rodman in the 3 seconds, waiting for an offensive rebound. A lot of times Dennis will just run in there and stand. But Doug, I get the feeling that Chicago is just trying to hang around until the last 5 minutes of the game, and hopefully Michael Jordan can take them home.
Well, they trail by 8. That Russell connects.
Bob set play to get a 2-for-1 possession. About 3-second differential on the clock. Game clock, shot clock.
Chicago can pretty much hold it for the last one. Just a slight overlap. Pippen finds Kukoc alone for 3. Can't ask for a better look. Hornacek now has 3 seconds to half court where he flings it and almost connected. So Utah takes an 8-point lead into the 4th quarter of game 1. Cold 3rd quarter for the 2 superstars. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station.
Telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA. Entering the final 12 minutes of regulation, Utah leads it by 8.
Only once in the 6 final games a year ago did the Jazz manage as many as 90 points against the Bulls. That was in Game 3, the first game here at the Delta Center, when they got back into the series with a 104-93 victory.
Bob, a big risk here that Phil Jackson's taking. He's resting both Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan at the same time. Has a lineup out there that's going to have a difficult time scoring, and they're down 8.
Through 3 quarters, both Pippen and Jordan had played 33 of 36 minutes. So they need a breather, and Kukoc gives them the offense that had been missing from him through most of the game. He's now just 3 of 10 from the floor with 6 points.
And right now it's the bench against the bench. You got Stockton and Malone out of the game, Pippen and Jordan out of the game. So we'll see who will win the battle of the benches right here.
Russell behind the screen from Carr takes a leaner, and the bank is open for him.
That's one of those when you're playing against him, you make him call that one.
Otherwise, he can't get an H on you. Kukoc on the move. His pass intended for Buechler, broken up by Russell, but there's a foul.
See, Brian Russell's going to drive and pump fake Rodman. He leaves his feet and leans in and gets the lucky shot off the glass to keep the lead at 8.
Foul on Antoine Carr, his second. Burrell from Kerr overshoots it. Burrell concluded the regular season and began the playoffs shooting the ball very well. Had a 23-point game in round 1 against the Nets, but since then his shooting touch has completely deserted him.
Well, Burrell is not a spot-up shooter. He's a streaky rhythm shooter, and he needs touches to get his rhythm. He's not a guy that can just come in like a Steve Kerr and just nail one.
Here he comes up with a steal. Ostertag poked it away from Rodman, but to Steve Kerr. Rodman turns, takes the jumper, and misses it. Rebound Russell. And a chance to take the lead to double digits for the first time tonight. Rodman picks him up on a switch. His pass outside, picked off by Burrell, who's all alone. The steal in the hoop as he cut in front of Russell. And Utah wants a timeout.
Now remember, Burrell is streaky, and this is the type of play that will get him going. Streaky players need to get in their rhythm, and the slam dunk like this makes him feel more confident about himself.
Watch NBA at the Budweiser. Now is the perfect time to enjoy a fresh, cold Beechwood aged Budweiser. By Touchstone Pictures, 6 days, 7 nights, starring Harrison Ford, rated PG-13, opens June 12. And by Toyota, every day belongs to you. Make it count. Toyota every day.
In recent years, the finals have followed a Wednesday, Friday, Sunday schedule. This year, no exception to that. Friday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Pacific, 7 Mountain, I should say, and 6 Pacific for Game 2 from the Delta Center. Doug.
Bob, Utah is missing a golden opportunity right here with Pippen and Jordan resting. They've got to push the cushion into this game. They've had a chance to go up 10. It's now 6. They put Malone back in for that reason. They've got to score some points here so that Pippen and Jordan don't come back fresh and steal this game in the 4th quarter.
Malone just 4 of 14. And the cold spell continues. The rebound to Rodman.
You see, in the Indiana series where they couldn't buy minutes of rest for Pippen and Jordan, in this series, the bench can buy the minutes.
Here's Burrell, and now Kerr. Kukoc with 5 on the 24. Burrell fires a 3 and misses it. The rebound to Ostertag, who has given them a decent contribution here. Malone again. Off again. Morris gives them a fresh 24.
See, Malone is out of sync. He just cannot get any kind of rhythm. That shot normally is money in the bank for him.
A 53% shooter for the year. Anderson inside, muscles it up and in. but they take it away.
3-second violation on Shandon Anderson. Now, they've tried to post him twice. They doubled him once. He turned it over, this time at 3 seconds. Now, Michael Jordan's getting ready to check in, and he got a little over a 3-minute rest.
Karl Malone, his actual rest in terms of real-world minutes, 10.5. 2:23 of game time. A 53% shooter for the season. 4 of 16 tonight in game 1. They may get by without their usual contribution from Karl Malone. Here's Burrell on the run, and he banks it in.
Can you get a sense that Delta Center right now is just really uneasy? Although they're leading the basketball game, they've seen this before from Chicago.
Malone, 4 of 17.
See, I think he lost his rhythm at the start of this game. When you're a post-up player, you need touches early to get your rhythm.
Burrell, he's not shy, but he misses it long. Isley from Stockton. And a whistle as they try to lob it to Malone.
3-second violation once again. Malone is trying to post up in there, and they're very slow getting the ball to the corner. As they're normally on transition, they swing this ball to the corner. Malone seals his man. They throw right over the top, but they can't get the ball to the corner until it's too late. Rodman does a good job locking him up, but that time he's been in the lane too long.
And now Michael Jordan's back in the game, fully rested.
Shandon Anderson is on him. Morris over for help. Michael spins, throws him a wild reverse, no good, and Malone clears the boards. Here's Stockton. Isley open for 3. Just short. Flat-footed rebound to Rodman in the lane. That could have been a huge basket for the Jazz.
Now Kerr's out on the floor, so if you double team, he's a 3-point shooter. Stockton's got to be more aware of him.
Michael is fouled before the shot. Anderson got him. That's 3 on Shandon Anderson.
See, Michael got actually over 13 minutes actual rest, only missed a little over 4 minutes of the game.
Stockton up on Kerr. Kukoc from Rodman. Missed it badly. Stockton has the rebound. Ahead to Anderson, and he lost it. 6 minutes and 59 seconds to play in the fourth, and it's still a 4-point game.
Karl Malone wanted to start game 1 of the NBA Finals. He's had a miserable shooting night. Squares up Luke Longley, misses the jump shot. Post up Dennis Rodman, fade away, missed the jump shot. And again, stepping out and missing about the 17-foot jump shot. And you're going to see the Bulls have done an excellent job. All of his jump shots on the perimeter, only 1 of 9 in the second half.
He averaged 30 points a game in the conference finals against the Lakers, averaged 27 a game for the season. If Utah wins this game, he can probably shake it off. It wouldn't have cost his team anything, and he can attribute it to rust or just a bad night. But if they lose this game, and he thinks back to what happened in some of the crucial moments last year in the finals, it might get to him. Longley's shot was halfway down, but wouldn't fall, and Malone takes the rebound.
Interesting, Isley still on the floor with Stockton.
Russell for 3, way short. Chases down his own rebound, and can't hit.
Now this is danger time for Utah, because at the end of the game, in the closing moment, Chicago has 3 players that can get their own shot off the dribble, and Utah only has 1 in Malone.
Kukoc swings it to Longley. Outside Kerr. Splits the defense, but trying to get rid of it to Kukoc, has it picked off by Russell. Ahead to Stockton, now Malone. Malone wasn't about to miss that one. 22nd timeout, Chicago.
Jerry Sloan has been pleading with his team all night long to play good team defense. A terrific sequence here. They chased Steve Kerr off his shot, forced him to put it on the floor, and we're able to come it up. You see Brian Russell plays the passing lane, and then he throws the ball ahead to Stockton. And who does it better than Stockton and Malone? And Karl Malone desperately needed this basket. You're going to see the defense, Brian Russell in the passing lane, again throwing ahead, and Stockton with the bounce pass. Karl Malone with the emphatic finish to put his team up 6.
And a reminder, following the game, most of you should stay tuned for your late local news, followed by The Tonight Show. And for those of you who would like to continue with the NBA Finals, we'll have a post-game special on CNBC. Immediately following the game, our entire cast will recount the game with highlights and post-game interviews.
Bob, you can see the last few possessions, the guy who's had the open shot has been Luke Longley. Ostertag is the guy helping off.
Pippen to Michael. Russell is on him. Michael back to work. Blocked away by Ostertag, but he was fouled. Foul on Russell is second.
See, you watch the patience of Jordan. He's looking at Ostertag out the corner of his eye, and he spins baseline. Russell reaches in when the ball is down low. You see Michael Jordan start to go to the basket right now at the end of the game to get to the foul line because he knows this is where he's going to win it or lose it.
That's only the 9th free throw attempted by the Bulls all evening. Michael and Scotty, the only 2 guys who have shot them all night long.
Michael makes 1 of 2, just 6 points so far in the second half after a 20-point outburst in the first 24 minutes.
And during that free throw, Pippen talked to Steve Kerr, and I read his lips, and he told him that, Steve, if you're open, knock it down.
Kerr on Stockton. 5-point Utah lead. Malone backing in on Pippen. Fade away. No.
You know, he's getting some good shots in there. He just got some tough rolls. He took his time that time, had Pippen, and just couldn't make the shot.
Michael into the lane. Missed it long. Rebound Russell. Malone's only basket of late was a dunk. He remains ice cold with his jumper.
And Brian Russell's going back and getting some huge rebounds.
Malone low blocks again, and Rodman fouled him as he received the pass.
Isaiah, you know this. You're a star player. You got to keep taking the shots. He took his time this time. This is a good look at the basket. You got to think that Karl Malone, an MVP candidate this year and last year the MVP, will eventually make those shots.
Eventually, they will go down for you. You just have to have enough nerve and enough heart to keep shooting the basketball.
He'll take it to the basket and slam it. Utah by 7. 4:38 remaining in the fourth.
Bob, you said at the start of the game, you said, Doug, the simple play, screen and roll. Who does it better? Stockton and Malone. The last 2 baskets that Karl Malone has gotten have been slam dunks from John Stockton. He reads it, no weak side rotation. And Malone does what he's supposed to do, finish it.
And you're watching the NBA on NBC.
Here's Michael Jordan. He's worried he's got a 3-point shooter right here. So they step up and they run screen roll. Malone steps back, and Michael's slow in his rotation. He's worried about Russell. Nobody on the weak side steps up, and Malone with the powerful finish. The eyes of the point guard, Isaiah. I know you love that.
I do love that because he's getting this big fella involved. He understands that Karl Malone is struggling, and he's gave him 2 dunks.
Down by 7, here come the Bulls. Quick pass to Longley inside from Kerr, and Longley is fouled. Conventional wisdom coming into this series was that if Chicago was to get a split, which is pretty much what they seek in the first 2 games in Utah, their most likely victory would come in game 1. Of course, in sports, conventional wisdom changes moment to moment. It's possible that Utah will win game 1 with their best player, Karl Malone, having a decidedly off night. He does have 11 rebounds with 15 points, but he shot just 6 of 20.
Hey, Luke.
As you noted earlier, Doug, Prior to this trip to the line by Longley, only Pippen and Jordan had shot free throws in this entire game for Chicago. Kukoc out, Rodman back in.
And Longley is a 90% free throw shooter, so it's vital that your big guy, if you're going to take a hard foul underneath the basket, can step up and make free throws.
Longley cuts it to 5. Remember, when they played the Jazz a year ago, they had Jason Caffey and, more importantly, Brian Williams, who's now with the Pistons. Those guys were so important against Utah. They don't have that kind of depth and front court strength this time around.
See Scottie Pippen trying to chase him out of the double team by running at the ball.
Chris Morris off the glass and good. We move inside 4 minutes. Utah by 7. Michael, good look, and he puts it down. 28 for MJ.
Now watch Scottie Pippen. When they try to get into their screen roll, he's running at John Stockton and trying to scramble the play.
Stockton behind Malone's screen. Kerr chasing after him. 5 on the shot clock. It's Morris. Can't hit his second in a row. And Longley clears the boards. Jordan from 20. Good again.
Now, when Jordan shot that shot, he turned around and made a little sound and just said, woo. I think he's in a rhythm right now because the shot that went right through the net.
It gives him 30. Longley up on Malone. He'll try the jumper again, and he'll miss it again. Pippen has it. They can tie with a 3.
Jordan just screamed at Pippen. He wants the basketball.
Scottie to tie. Brand new game.
See, this is the moment Chicago was waiting for. They just wanted to hang around and stay close. They got people at the end of the game who can get their own shot off the dribble. You see Jordan here off the screen and roll, jumps up, takes the shot. Look at his face as he turns around. He says, I'm feeling good right now. He's coming back down the court. Next time, said, okay, Scottie, your turn. Batman and Robin, let's step up. What you gonna do for me? Right here, the three-point shot to tie it up. And Scottie say, I'm with you, Michael. Here, he knows that he's in the zone and he wants to take his game to another level. Scottie Pippen missed him on the pass. He had just made a J, and he's hollering at Pippen, get it to me, get it to me. Even though Pippen made the 3, he came back to the huddle, and he's telling Scottie right now, look, Scottie, I feel it. Get it to me. Scottie saying, but Mike, I feel it too.
Is that a competitor or what? His teammate ties the game with a 3, and he chews him out. Here's Stockton's pass. It goes awry. Michael pokes at it, but Stockton is there to reclaim it. Malone screening out high. Stockton returns it to him. Malone drives, lays it up, blocked by Rodman. Great play by Rodman at a crucial moment. Pippen, another 3. This one's long, and Malone has it.
When Malone went to the basket, he finger rolled. He's got a tomahawk dunk that ball. No flips right now. Either get fouled or finish.
And Jordan came down again and told Pippen, get it to me in the post.
Stockton trying to get it to Malone in the post. He fires again and finally hits one.
And John Stockton looked at him and said, look, you're our guy. Take us home.
Jazz by 2. Rodman out to Pippen. And Michael. Against Russell, looking to tie it. Can't. Rebound Malone. They come to their feet. Every last soul at the Delta Center. Stockton. Shot clock winding down. Malone has to. 2 in a row. And what a time to come alive.
The AT&T $2 million shootout at the NBA Finals.
Karl Malone catches the ball at the top of the circle, and it's a tie game. And he does what you're supposed to do. He drives it to the basket. It looks like he's going to finish strong, and at the last moment, he flips it at the basket, and Rodman comes up with a huge block. But you know what? You got to keep coming back, Isaiah. You're the star player. You make the big plays. You square up and you hit the shot to go up 2, and then you come right back again. And you know what? Even though you're not shooting it well, you got to shoot it again. You can't be afraid to fail. You got to take your team to the top in these kind of games. And you know what? Last year, it was the Chicago Bulls making all the big plays. Tonight, it's been Karl Malone, but we still got a lot of time.
Chicago inbounds, and Pippen takes it right to the basket and is fouled, and it very nearly could have been a three-point play. Jerry Sloan can't believe it. Livid on the Utah bench.
All right, now what you have to look for, when does Scotty take off, and does Malone move after he takes off?
I thought he was moving on this play. As Scotty gets in the air, you see him move and slide right up under him. Steve Javie and Bennett Salvador both looked at each other, and they both had the same call.
It's definitely the right call. The replay confirms it. And Pippen swishes the free throw.
But see, there's still a ton of time right now, and interestingly enough, Jerry Sloan is coming back with Hornacek, who sat for a long time, so he's coming in for Brian Russell. The reason is because he's a very good open shooter if they're going to scramble the floor, and he's also a great free throw shooter.
The foul on Malone was his third. Utah is over the limit. The Bulls have a foul to give here in the last 2 minutes.
And Chicago is right where they want to be. A chance to steal it at the end.
Malone, Longley on him. Malone backing him down. Out to Russell. It's a three. And it won't go down. Jordan has it. Michael on the move. Can't tie it. Pippen on the offensive glass. Asks for a timeout as he's surrounded on the baseline.
You saw Jordan take it hard, trying to draw the foul on Hornacek. Couldn't get the foul. Drove to the baseline, put up the shot. Scottie Pippen came in, got the rebound over Stockton, and had the savvy to call a timeout. You watch Jordan trying to draw the foul. Hornacek is smart enough not to foul him, goes up and takes the shot. You watch Pippen comes over. Stockton falling out of bounds, has the presence of mind to call a timeout. And you know who they're going to right now.
The shot clock and game clock are virtually identical. 23-6 remaining in the game, 23 on the shot clock. And following the game, if you want more basketball, you can join us on CNBC. Our entire cast, pregame and game commentators, will all be on hand with interviews and highlights and commentary. On the NBC network, most of you will get your late local news immediately following basketball, and then The Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
Now, fouls to give. Chicago has one. Utah is over the limit, so if they foul, Chicago will be shooting free throws. That's important because now Chicago knows if we go to the basket, you know, we're going to shoot free throws. Importantly enough, too, you've got to be disciplined, Bob. A three here could beat you. So if someone goes to the basket, you've got to be very wary where you give help. You cannot leave a Steve Kerr, a Kukoc, or a Pippen.
Chicago is just 2 of 14 on threes tonight. One by Jordan, one by Pippen.
And this is where Chicago has a huge advantage because in the playoffs, every team has scouted you. They know your matchups. They know your assignments. They know the plays that you're going to run. So you must be able to get your own shot at the end of the game. And Chicago has the greatest player in Michael Jordan and the second best in Scottie Pippen in getting their own shot in this game right now.
Bob, the question I have is if it goes into the post, do you take a chance on double-teaming Michael Jordan, where if you do get the ball out of his hands, chances are you're going to give them a look at a three-point shot?
I say you got to get it out of Michael Jordan's hands, He's beat you time and time again. Make someone else beat you and live with it.
Michael wearing a smile as he heads toward the end line. He lives for moments like this. He's the guy who's going to throw it in, but you can bet it won't be the last time he touches it. Longley crew coach Pippin Kerr out on the floor with him. It's Scotty back to Michael. Russell's on him. Around a Longley screen. Michael dishes to Longley. Up with the shot to tie the game. Timeout Utah with 14.3 seconds, even at 79.
So you draw the double team and you kick it back to Longley. Picture perfect basketball, presence of mind. That's why Michael Jordan's a great player, because he will give it up when he draws the double team.
And we're back after these messages and a word from your local station. Anybody got a problem with game one?
For anyone who...
Michael Jordan makes a great pass to Luke Longley. Remember, he trusted him in Indiana, and he hit a big shot. So Michael comes over. He gets the double coverage. He finds Luke Longley, who makes a tough shot. Leans up and under. Kisses it off the glass. And as he goes back down the floor, he looks over at Michael, and he goes, "Michael, nice pass." And Michael goes, "No, better finish."
Saddled with fouls early. Longley comes on in the second half. 10 points, 5 rebounds. He shot 4 of 6. Now remember, Chicago has a foul to give. Into Stockton.
And you see Michael guarding Stockton.
Inside 10 seconds. And there's the foul. It won't cost Chicago. It's on Jordan. 6.9 seconds. Now let's see if Utah wants a timeout.
Interestingly enough, they got Pippen on Malone and Jordan on Stockton.
Those are the two best defenders with the most speed. And if there is a pick and roll, don't be surprised if they switch it.
They add a few tenths of a second, bringing it back to 7.3. Russell with Rodman hounding him. Has trouble getting it in.
Delay of game, Chicago.
They had one of those to give also.
Bob, I'm watching guys trying to cut. We got guys holding on to each other. I mean, guys can't even move out there.
Almost daring the referees to call something in a situation where usually they're very reticent to do that. With the game on the line, the officials don't like to decide it.
At this point in time of the game, no matter who's grabbing you or holding you, you've got to get open to receive the ball and make a play.
Utah takes Carr out. He was in for defense. They bring Isley in. Russell. He asked for a timeout rather than risk the call. It's a 20-second timeout taken by the Jazz.
You see Chicago with great speed out on the court right now. Pippen, Kukoc, Rodman, Kerr. They're all the same size, can switch any crosses. Utah's going to have a hard time getting this basketball in. I would post Karl Malone right up underneath the basket and just throw it directly into him.
Well, the one thing you tell your team, when you're throwing that ball in from the sideline, you do not make a soft pass to the middle of the floor that can be picked off and go down and dunk the basketball. You've got to use composure. Someone's got to come to the ball. The worst thing that happens is you get the ball in and you don't get the shot that you want, but you go into overtime. But no soft floating passes to the middle of the floor.
Each team has one timeout left now.
Kukoc now has got to be very wary of Russell stepping in and receiving a pass back if he turns his back.
Russell into Hornacek. Now it's Stockton out of the corner for the win. Bounces off, no good. And it's overtime in game one. Pippen is arguing that the ball went up over the backboard. There had to be at least a few tenths of a second on the clock when that happened. So if they had made that call, Chicago would have had an opportunity to inbound from half court and maybe pull off a miracle.
Now you see a busted play right here. Now Stockton has to improvise. One of the greatest clutch shooters in the game. We watched him last year beat Houston. Just misses it short right there. Ball goes over the top, and he knows he just missed it. Look at him. He's leaning. Oh, I feel you, John. I feel you.
We'll play at least 5 more minutes at the Delta Center to decide game one.
what they want to do. And Hornacek's going to wrap around, and he's going to catch the ball. And I really believe if he were healthy here, he would take his time. He's got a size advantage over Steve Kerr. He really gave the ball up quickly and forced John Stockton to take a tough shot. It almost went in, but you almost get a sense in this building that there was sort of the air went out when Stockton's shot did not go in.
Let's go over to Jim Gray, who's near the Utah bench.
But Doug, you may be exactly right, because that's what Jerry Sloan just told his guys during that after regulation right there. He said, hey guys, pick your heads up. This game is not over. We've got 5 minutes to play. Let's get some energy back. This isn't the end of the world. The game is still tied. See if we can regroup, get some energy, give it all you got. These 5 minutes is very important. Bob?
For whatever this may be worth, the road team has won the last 6 overtimes in the finals. Last time a home team won an overtime game in the final round was the Celtics in Game 2 at Boston Garden against the Lakers in 1984. That was the Gerald Henderson steal game.
Now in overtime, this is where conditioning becomes a big factor. Utah had the layoff, but were they able to stay in shape? Were they able to condition their bodies to go the length and to go the distance?
Utah led by 7 with about 3.5 minutes to play, but the Bulls came back and forced overtime. Pippen. Rebound Russell. Here comes Hornacek. Points at a premium in Game 1 into overtime, and neither team has reached 80. 5 seconds to shoot. Hornacek. Gotta force it. And he misses it. Pippen back the other way. Accelerating as Russell tries to cut him off.
Jordan wants the ball against Hornacek in the post.
And now he's got it. Longley, big second half. It doesn't continue. Rodman got a piece of it, but Hornacek comes away with the loose ball.
Say, 2 points might win this overtime right now, the way these teams are shooting and defending.
Malone from Stockton all the way to the basket.
Dennis Rodman a little slow in his rotation. Had he gotten there 1 step quicker, it would have been an offensive foul on Malone, but great execution.
21 for Malone, poked away by Hornacek, taken by Stockton, who's chased by Jordan, but lays it in anyway, and he was fouled by Kerr.
The screen roll once again. You're going to see the give and go. Rodman doesn't get there soon enough. And the gutty Jeff Hornacek, he's not right physically, but look at him reach in and knock it away from Pippen and then run the lane. And Stockton looking around with the great finish and a chance to put his team up by 5.
Which he does. And Stockton now has 20. Michael is bumped by Russell.
See, Bob, with Michael Jordan running that high screen roll with Ostertag, Stockton can't help because Steve Kerr is standing out there with his feet together. And if Stockton comes over, Michael will fan that ball out and Kerr will have a wide open 3-pointer.
Foul on Russell was his 3rd. Each team with 1 foul in the overtime. Jordan to the basket and clobbered. Ostertag's 3rd, Michael to the line.
Hornacek, you know he's only playing on 1 leg right now. He reaches in on Scottie Pippen and knocks the ball away. And the Jazz needed this desperately, a chance to get a little bit of a cushion. The concentration and the finish by Stockton.
One more coming. And a chance to bring the Bulls back to within 3 with 3:05 remaining in overtime. Michael averaging 32 points a game in this year's playoffs. And stuck on 31 with that miss tonight.
Let's see if they go once again to Stockton Malone screen roll. Hornacek's the 3-point shooter now.
Stockton very patient, Now fires the jumper. Longley to the floor along with Russell, and Longley asked for a timeout.
When Longley fell to the floor, Dennis Rodman signaled to Steve Javie for a quick timeout, made eye contact with Javie. Javie gave him the timeout.
See, Isaiah, I don't like this call at this stage of the game. I think you have to have clear possession. A lot of times what happens is guys start wrestling around, and really nobody has the advantage. Let's see if Longley really has the advantage down there.
See, I think he has the ball, and Rodman signaled for the timeout. He held it for a quick second, and then Russell put his hand in. In that time, Rodman, if you can get he's signaling for the timeout. Rodman signaling for it right there, and you see Javie right there raise his hand up.
It was Rodman who asked for it. Sloan doesn't agree that it should have been granted. You know, Rodman is such a contradiction. He does so many goofy things, and then he does uncommonly heady things like that. Sloan arguing that Longley did not have possession to a sufficient extent to allow for that call, but Rodman asked for the timeout, and they granted it.
I played with Dennis Rodman, and Dennis Rodman is one of the smartest players that I ever played with out on the court. His basketball IQ was just as high as a Jordan or a Pippen.
Although it wasn't always completely engaged, right? That's the problem. You don't know when he's on or off the reservation.
Not on the basketball court.
Once he's on the floor, you're right.
Here's Dennis Rodman right here, and he's going to be watching the action. Brian Russell comes in and tries to pull the ball loose. He actually does. And there's Rodman right there calling the timeout. Steve Javie sees it, and he grants it.
So now the Bulls have 2 timeouts remaining. And Utah has 3.
I think the Jazz has to be very careful, Isaiah, when they come down into their offense, not to let this clock work against them too much and have to beat the shot clock, because as you said before, they don't have guys that will create off the dribble, break down, and get the kind of shot that they want.
And you know, when you're playing the Chicago Bulls with 2:45 left in the game, you got to keep scoring, because you know Chicago is going to score with Jordan and Pippen.
Here's Michael. Has to regain control of the dribble. Now drives on Russell and can't hit it. Longley, though, pulls it down.
When Michael wants that basketball back again.
Pippen flips it to him. Turnaround fadeaway. Got it. At 33.
That's amazing. What this man can do under pressure.
Well, he's so smart. He knew he had Hornacek, so he went into the post. When he had Russell out on him, he dribbled it and took it to the lane. He knows how to use his body and his mind.
Stockton. A 2-point game as we move under 2 minutes. Hornacek against Michael. Misses the runner, and now Chicago.
I don't think that's the shot they wanted. Hornacek playing one-on-one against Michael at the end of the clock.
A chance to tie it, or perhaps take the lead with a 3. Five on the shot clock. It's going to be Michael. 2 seconds to shoot. He's not going to get it off. 24-second violation.
Now you watch Michael working hard in the post. He's trying to draw the foul, and it doesn't come. Shot clock runs out. He said, oh, I just lost track of time right there. And you go back to the previous possession where he's driving the lane. Now, Michael Jordan normally gets that call against Karl Malone. Malone came down and hacked him on the wrist, but he didn't get the foul. So he asked for it again in the low post against Hornacek. He spins baseline, shoots the fadeaway J, which is so difficult to guard.
Tongue wagging to indicate that he's got it going on, but this last time, a rarity for him. He apparently lost track of just how much time was on the shot clock. He didn't have a good shot, but once it's down to a couple of seconds, you got to force it, which he would have done if he realized that there were that few ticks remaining.
You know what I think happened on that play is Michael thought he had Brian Russell all alone, and as he was working him, at the last moment, Ostertag came over and got in his way in the double team, so Michael was going to try to step through, and once he did, the clock went off. So Ostertag really forced that violation with the double team. Now watch Ostertag come over. Look, Michael thinks he's got a one-on-one here. Right here is Ostertag, and at the last moment, he's going to come over as Michael lets everything clear. Michael's going to work his time here. Now here comes Ostertag. Now Michael says, I have no place to go, and at that point in time, it's too late.
Steve Kerr, seated alongside Michael, has played the entire fourth quarter and the overtime rather than Ron Harper.
That's because of his shooting. Because if they're going to double team in the post, you're going to stay with Steve Kerr. If he stands out 25 feet from the basket, they know he's hit big shots. Remember Game 6 last year, out of the double team, he hit the game winner. Michael Jordan, you can see operating in that lane, but also that mid-post area. He's been so deadly tonight. That little 16, 17-footer. Question you have here, Isaiah, can the Jazz score? Can they get a basket here? Because they need one with only a 2-point lead. They've got to score some points here.
This is a huge possession for the Utah Jazz, and it would come down to execution.
Stockton into the front court, guarded by Kerr. Malone has it bounce off his leg, loose ball. Dennis Salvatore blows a whistle, and there's a Chicago foul.
I think they're going to call Michael Jordan out of bounds here. Watch Michael read this. They're trying to step Malone out. He jumps into the passing lane, and then Michael dives for the loose ball. They're going to say his hand was out of bounds.
You're right, no foul. But just as importantly, the ball to Utah.
Shot clock.
7 seconds. Stockton's pass broken up and stolen by Rodman. Another key defensive play by Dennis. Michael. Hornacek has it. Michael for the tie, but a whistle. The basket will not count.
Michael did not want that foul right there. He wanted the basket. He did not want the foul. But here's the steal. You watch Stockton come off the screen and roll, and Steve Kerr comes back and he gets a hand in the passing lane. Jordan coming down, wants the isolation in the post, the fade, didn't want the foul on the floor, but the referee gave it to him anyway.
Foul is Hornacek's second. Kukoc comes in, he'll inbound it, so they have the extra shooter in Kukoc. Longley, Ostertag up on him. Puts it on the floor, tries to go to the hoop, lost it. And Russell dives to the floor to pick it up, and he gets the timeout.
Bob, I'm shocked. They went to a one-on-one play for Longley against Ostertag. And Luke, if he's going to have to dribble the ball twice, he's going to be in trouble. They knocked it loose.
Chicago has had so many opportunities to win this game. You see Longley will get the ball in the post, and he's looking for somebody to pass it to. No one will come, so he'll put it on the floor to try to go around Ostertag to try to create something. Morris gets a hand on the ball, and at this point in time in the playoffs, you dive on the floor, you get the ball, you get possession, and you call a timeout.
It looks like Brian Russell gets a little bit of hand in here. Watch him as he goes by. Right there, he knocks the ball loose. Now, it's important because there's a 4.4 differential on the shot clock. We see Brian Russell call timeout, so he makes the play that the Bulls made earlier in this overtime period.
I thought Karl Malone kicked that basketball, and that should have been a violation.
Well, Bob, there's a 4.4 differential right now. So if you're Chicago, do you feel like that you have enough time that you can let them use the clock, get a shot up, rebound it, still have enough time to get a timeout and move the basketball? That's a major question for Phil Jackson. He's got to decide what he wants to do here.
Chicago has a foul to give. If Utah should commit a foul of any sort, the Bulls will be shooting the rest of the way. Let's see if we can get a look at what you were talking about, so you can see if Malone does kick this ball.
You see in the scramble for the ball, Watch as it's rolling out of bounds. You'll see Malone go for it, and watch he kicks that basketball.
I think that's inadvertent. No, they wouldn't call that. You have to stick your foot out and make an effort to do that. They would not call that. That was an inadvertent kick. That's a good no call.
The Jazz still with 2 timeouts. Chicago down to 1.
Now the Jazz will take this length of the floor to give them more room to get the ball in, because against Chicago, it's very difficult to get it in. Question again, does Phil Jackson take a foul, or do they play this out to the finish, hope they can stop him, get a rebound?
I think you play it out.
Malone throws it into Stockton. Into the front court with Kerr guarding him. Chicago doesn't have to foul because of the overlap. It's Stockton on the run, and it's Utah by 4. Chicago uses its last timeout with 9.3 seconds remaining in overtime.
You know what? That was good defense. The Bulls did a good job here. Steve Kerr fought over the top of that Isaiah, and you know what it was? It was better offense by a Hall of Fame player. Look at the shot that Stockton has to take. Kerr's got a hand in his face. He's on the move. That was just great offense by John Stockton. You can see they're going to stay with the screener. They're not going to trap it. And Stockton just makes a wonderful play when they most needed it.
See, I have to ask myself this question. Why is Steve Kerr in the game right now guarding John Stockton when you have a better defender in Brown or Harper on the bench?
Look at Jerry Sloan, the former Chicago Bull great. Now in his 10th year as the coach of the Jazz, the longest tenure of any present NBA coach. His reaction as Stockton gives them just a bit of breathing room.
Let's see what happens. They're going to come over and run the screen roll, and they don't want to jump out and let Malone roll, so they stay with him. And Kerr does a good job fighting over. Now Michael doesn't want to leave Hornacek, who's the shooter. Kerr gets back, gets a hand up, and just makes an unbelievably tough shot. That's what we talk about. Stockton to Malone, 13th season, Bob. And then Stockton once again with the running shot in the lane.
At this stage of his career, at age 36, in his 14th NBA season, Stockton does not put up the kind of numbers night in, night out that he did during that great decade-long stretch where he led the league in assists, and it was a league that included Magic Johnson for a large portion of that time, led it in assists 9 straight times, and was also averaging like 16 points a game. But when his team has needed it, especially tonight, with his running mate Karl Malone having a subpar night, what has he done? 22 points, 8 assists. Kukoc looking to get it in. Jordan back to Kukoc. They need a 3. And Kukoc delivers it with 5.4 seconds, bringing them to within 1 and allowing them to foul. They immediately grab Russell. Jordan does it. Shakes his hand to indicate it was unintentional, rather strategic.
See, Karl Malone made a mistake there on that out-of-bounds play. He was guarding Tony Kukoc. The most dangerous man on that kind of play is the guy throwing the ball in bounds. Karl Malone lost vision where he was at, and Kukoc just stepped right in. Now, they had a foul to give.
It was, of course, intentional. I meant to say that the contact, the roughness of it, was unintentional.
Now, you got Burrell coming in now for Steve Kerr, who has more speed, so they can possibly try to get a quick foul or either go for the steal.
I'm surprised Hornacek is not in the game right now because he's one of their best free throw shooters.
4.8. Malone into Stockton. And he dribbles a bit of time off the clock before they can catch him and foul him with 3 seconds left. And not the guy that you want to send to the line if you're Chicago.
You keep putting the pressure on, though. You extend the game. When you make that 3, now what you do is you got to make Stockton make 2. If he makes 1, a 2 ties, or a 3 beats you. If he makes them both, the 3 can send the game into overtime. So still a lot of game left to be played here, Bob.
They put half a second back on the clock. But remember, Chicago has used its last timeout.
See, they can't move the basketball. That means they got to throw something long. That's why if they can get both of these, it's very difficult to catch and kick out for a 3.
Easton with 5 points in overtime. It rattles around and drops.
Now what they'll do is they'll put Michael Jordan at the other end of the floor, and they'll throw a home run play to him. He'll come to the sideline, catch it, and in one motion try to catch and shoot the three. Brian Russell's got to keep it out of his hands here.
3-point lead. Kukoc down to Michael with Russell on him. He tips it to Pippen. Can he beat the horn? He can. But he misses it. And game one goes to Utah in overtime. A game they had to sweat to win with their best player having a subpar night.
The home run play to Michael Jordan, and Brian Russell does a great job staying with him, and he actually knocks the ball loose. And those loose, broken plays are what sometimes beat you. You see Longley tip it back to Pippen, and they chased him off his shot, made him take a tough one, never got into any kind of rhythm.
See, Doug, I think by Longley tipping that ball, it threw Pippen off his rhythm. Consequently, he didn't get a good look at it. And that's what he's really frustrated about, because when Longley tipped it the second time, he wasn't able to get in his rhythm.
Jim Gray is with Karl Malone.
All right, thank you very much, Bob. Karl, you struggled tonight, 9 for 25, but you hit the two big ones there in regulation. You had a lot of guts going down there. How did you have the fortitude to take those shots?
Well, I didn't have a good rhythm the whole night. I didn't shoot the ball really well, but they kept running my plays, and they said, hey, look, it's 48-minute ball game, so it's just one of those things where in the playoffs, sure, I would like to win and I would like to shoot good, but in the playoffs, I don't think it really matters what your shoot percentage are. If you have an opportunity to shoot some big shots, that's what it's about. But other guys did a great job. This right here, we knew this was going to be a tough game for us. We got to win.
When you guys came back over to the bench after regulation, everybody was kind of down. Jerry Sloan said, hey, guys, pick it up. We got 5 minutes left to play. Were you guys down, and how devastating would it have been to lose, leading by 7 with 3.5 minutes to go?
Well, we was down a little bit, but the thing about it, they're a great team. You got to give them a lot of credit for that. And we knew that we had to fight our behinds off to get the lead, and then they came back, which championship teams do. But then in that overtime, we kind of got some baskets right off, and it was a great team effort. Like I said, I didn't have the game I wanted, but we won the ball game, and it's really neat.
Will the rust be off Friday night for you?
Excuse me?
Will the rust be off Friday night?
I hope it will. I hope it will.
Congratulations, Karl. I'll like to send it over to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Jim. Somehow, John, you have the feeling that these games were going to be just like this one was tonight.
Absolutely. They're a championship team, and we feel like we bring a tough game, too. So, I don't know. We had a couple nice leads there, and they just kept coming back. They're a true champion, and we're going to have to play a lot better than we played tonight if we expect to try to win this thing.
In a strategy like this, the visiting team always tries to come in and try to steal one, but you guys just would not let that happen.
Well, we were fortunate. I thought we had some chances. I had a chance in regulation to make the shot, didn't do it. I didn't think we played terrifically in the overtime, but we just managed to eke it out.
Karl had a tough night tonight, but everybody else stepped up, especially you.
Well, they're going to try to stop Karl, just like we try to stop Michael. That's your first job. If you can do that, you have a good chance of beating any team. So other guys need to step up. But fortunately, a few shots fell tonight.
All right, congratulations, and the battle has begun.
Yes, it has.
All right, thanks. Let's go back to Bob Costas.
All right, Ahmad, the Bulls have now lost 4 straight road games in the playoffs, every one of them very close, and they trail this series 1-0. Friday at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. It's Game 2 of the NBA Finals from right here in the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. Coming up next, for most of you, your late local news, then an all-new Tonight Show with Jay Leno.